Hello and welcome to our recap weekly show of The Bad Batch. This is The Batch Report. I'm your host, Jackson Daleen.
And I'm your other host, Braydon Leadbetter.
Hey.
Good
you have some,
right. Thanks, guys.
You've got some news if you want to, sorry it's a little late.
Yes, I do have a little bit of news. Probably talk about it again on the main show.
Some things happened. Yeah, we'll talk about it on both.
Some things happened, but I'm engaged now.
Congratulations. That's so very exciting. That's so awesome.
Yes.
Can I be your flower girl? If not, your ring bearer. Not bearer, bear. I'll show up in a bear suit.
You can ride my dog Murphy's back.
Amazing.
Down the aisle.
It's like a Napoleon Dynamite when he shows up on the horse.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, that's cool. Well, that's probably a decent explanation for why we're a few days late on this episode.
Yep.
But that's all right. We're here now and we're recording and getting it ready. Braydon, what did you think of the episode as a whole? How did you feel about this one?
I think it was definitely a lot more. It felt a little less side mission-y.
I agree.
Only because we got that payoff at the end.
Yes, I agree.
Because again, we get the Rafa and Trace, the sisters from season 7, and we get to see. Have we ever seen Corellia in animation before?
I don't think so, actually.
Yeah, so we get to see. I think it's cool how Corellia is basically this ground for melting and destroying old separatist droids. It's kind of cool.
It's just this industrial ground now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that happen in this episode that will carry the story forward. Like we got the stuff with Wrecker and his head, and we got kind of Omega struggling with different things, and then we have the sisters and who they're working for, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I think this was one of the episodes I liked more than the past couple.
I agree. My kind of thought process on this, and I saw some people on Twitter who kind of have the same idea, is that while the show is good, this episode is kind of what the layout everyone wanted for kind of this should have been the filler episode, whereas this feels more like it was an important episode.
Like it is a side mission, but there's important things happening. But there were some
important things that happened. Yeah. And I almost wish that every episode was kind of like that, but I also understand like why that can't be. And
and
just
there's
kind
also
of
16 episodes. We're not even halfway there.
They're fleshing it out and showing us this animation and all that. So yeah, no, I completely get it. So this is a pretty action-packed episode. Yeah. So I'll kind of ask you more. What were your favorite like specific action moments? Just what in the entire thing stood out to you?
I don't know if I have really any specific action moments, but I think what this episode does really well is the way they, I want to say they're not really shooting it, but the way they, okay, I'm just going to call shooting it, but you know what I mean. The way that they're shooting and capturing the action.
The different angles of it.
Yeah, I think I like it a little more than Clone Wars. Because I think with Clone Wars, it's the camera is it's
they're
very
just kind
static.
of wide battle shots.
It's very static, and the camera doesn't really move. And for this, I think it's the camera and the shots are a lot more involved in what's going on.
They feel very live-like in the sense of like actually reacting to new things coming. And it's funny you say that, because my favorite action moment is when Hunter and I can't remember if it's Trace or Rafa I don't remember which one's which. But he's talking to them like before the the showdown happens, and it like he saves her, she saves him, he saves her again, she does it one more time, and then it just turns into a fight, and like they just have to keep on fighting. That one stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And the angles you were talking about really played into that, where it jumped around a bunch, and then all of a sudden it just turned into chaos. I think it's a lot more immersive
that way.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, cool. Moving on, what was your favorite like comedic moments, or just kind of the more of the funnier things that happened from the show?
I love the beginning whenever she's basically saying, "We'll see if we're in or not." Well, you guys are in. I already told you you're in.
You're in. Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever she's telling Omega that she's got weak little noodle arms, she needs to get some strength. Yeah. I think that was kind of the peak comedy of this episode.
I just love the idea that they just hang out at Sid's, that it's just like their little like spot that they just chill at.
Yeah. It's like their base camp.
Yeah. No, it was funny. Well, let's talk about, we kind of talked about, them chilling at Sid's, but let's talk about just at least the kind of important things that came from this episode. What were your thoughts initially on seeing Trace and Rafa again?
At first, I wasn't sure if it was them. I don't know why. I was like, okay, that's them, right? I think it's them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's them. But I wasn't sure until they took the helmets off.
I read the like IMDb synopsis of the episode, and it was like they run into two smugglers, and I was like, oh, that's cool, like that's whatever. And then Sid says Corellia, and my head went, wait. I was like, Han Solo's like 4 at this point. I was like, it can't be an M.
I thought they would pull a cheap like showing a little Han Solo running through the streets and like a side shot. I thought they would.
If anything, I thought it was going to be, when they were wearing the helmets first too, I thought still it was going to be Han and Kira, but they were kids. And they were like them being hooligans and whatever. But no, I kind of liked it turning out to be Trace and Rafa. I like that we're getting more of them.
I wasn't a huge fan of their part of the season 7.
I think it's more, they are fine characters, just the arc that they're in sucks.
Yeah. I think that's probably it.
I'm glad that they're like reusing it and making sure that it's not, just wasted characters that they have, because that scene in season 7 where who's the older one? Is it Rafa?
I don't remember.
When the older one tells Ahsoka the story of the ship that crashed into their home on Coruscant and all that. I like the realness of those characters, and I like that they're back with it.
Yeah, I like they have some emotional weight behind them too.
Absolutely, they're very like lived in characters that kind of show us like the actual harshness of what Clone Wars tried to kind of mask.
Right.
So moving on, the big thing happened in this episode, which we can kind of talk about some theories with Trace and Rafa's employers that kind of coexist with this specific action. Wrecker's head really took a big tumble this time. He's starting to mutter some words, and do you think it's on now?
Good soldiers obey orders or something?
Good soldiers follow orders,
orders, yeah.
Do you think the inhibitor chip's on now?
I think it's starting to spark on a little bit. I think it's not fully activated, but I think
this
going
was
in
it.
And out. You think so?
I think this was it, and then we need to talk about the employer.
All right, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah.
Who do you think it is?
I have a couple theories.
I do as well.
Could be Ahsoka.
Yep.
Could be Kenobi.
Oh, I didn't think that.
Because that looks like a brown Kenobi robe, but I'm not sure. Okay. Or it could be Maul.
Okay.
That's all. That's my 3 theories. I think it is a Force user / Jedi.
I think it's either Ahsoka or it's Bail Organa.
Oh.
I think Sid's employer is Maul. I think what's going to happen is that since they gave the data to Trace and Rafa and they fail Sid's going to be like, do you realize what you've done? Like, my employer was someone you should not be messing with.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is, I think they used he when they were talking about he let him know or something about he. Let me double check really quick.
For who, Sid's or Trace and Rafa's?
No, okay, so I think it's Trace. It says patch him through R7. Whenever they're talking about the hologram at the end, she says patch him through R7.
It could also be Rex. I've been seeing some stuff on TikTok today. Actually, it was funny that it was people think that it's Rex and Ahsoka because Trace and Rafa have a R7 unit.
But you see that robe, I don't think because it's very obviously a robe, like a shoulder of a robe.
Right, yeah, which kind of leads me more to think it's Ahsoka. Especially with these are people who were trying to, fight the Empire.
But the thing is, if it was Ahsoka, why did they say patch him through?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I at this point, I don't know.
I'm gonna go with Bail Organa. That was my first thought when I saw the robe. I was like, oh, it's Bail. I was like, Bail needs it for it, and I bet you he's working with Ahsoka because Wrecker needs to snap, something needs to set Wrecker off, and I would think the only thing that would be is a Jedi.
And we're getting to that halfway point of the season to where there needs to be some drastic stuff that happens that will take us into the latter half of the season. And I think, what better way to do it than with Wrecker's whole situation? And they're already down one member of the Bad Batch. Are they going to be down two in the last half? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be different. What were your thoughts on? We're kind of jumping back a little bit, but to Hunter's change of heart and giving the data to Trace and Rafa. What do you think that means, kind of in a long-term setting of kind of what's going to happen with the Bad Batch?
I don't know, because I think Hunter's getting a little soft. He's very
I think he might die, honestly.
He's very persuadable, I think.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, what that means for the Bad Batch, I don't know. I think you do have a point that I think if anyone were to actually die, I think Hunter would be the most sad to see Hunter die.
Yeah, he's the one that the most character work we've seen.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I already know some weird stuff is coming. Some unexpected
some weird
stuff is coming.
Yeah, it definitely makes me excited for next week. I'm excited to see if they flesh it out anymore, or if it'll just be another filler episode to kind of throw us off.
Well, we've had about 3 in a row, so we'll see. We'll see, because we haven't seen. When's the last time we saw Crosshair? Like 4 episodes ago. Episode 3.
Yeah, I bet you we will probably see Crosshair in the next episode, and good stuff. Well, cool. Well, all right. Thank you, as always, again, guys, for listening. We always appreciate that you hang out and join with us. As always, you can find us on Instagram at Through Imperialized Pod. Our Twitter is at Imperialized Pod, and you can just look us up on YouTube or Anchor or Apple Podcast or anything of just Through Imperialized Podcasts. You can follow me on social medias at Twitter at QUACKSON _ Scalene, and my photography Instagram, which is Deleen_photography. That's DALEEN _ photography. Braydon, what are your socials?
And you can always find me on Instagram at braydonleadbetter and on Twitter at braydathlon.
And don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. You always leave that review. Give us a shout out on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Hang out on Anchor. Send us questions and things. I want to know what your predictions and thoughts are of the Bad Batch and what's going on with the next couple episodes. So, message us on Twitter or, tag us in something of questions and all that. And, maybe we'll discuss it on the show. But
we probably will discuss it on the show.
We probably will. We'd love to hear your feedback and, just instead of us kind of rambling to each other about it. But, it's a good time. Until then, may the Force be with you.
And also with you.